In a world that strives for inclusivity and equal opportunities, the concept of reasonable accommodation plays a pivotal role in ensuring that individuals with disabilities can participate fully in education, employment, and various aspects of society. This episode explores the significance of reasonable accommodation, its legal framework, and its impact on the lives of people with disabilities. What is reasonable accommodation? Reasonable accommodation is a legal concept that requires employers, educational institutions, and service providers to make necessary modifications or adjustments to their policies, practices, or environments to enable individuals with disabilities to access and participate fully. These accommodations are meant to level the playing field, ensuring that no one is disadvantaged due to a disability. Legal framework. The legal framework for reasonable accommodation varies by country, but there are common elements. Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA in the United States. The ADA mandates that employers with 15 or more employees must provide reasonable accommodations to qualified employees with disabilities. These accommodations may include modified workspaces, flexible schedules, assistive technology, and more. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. This law applies to federal agencies, programs receiving federal funding, and public schools. It prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability and requires reasonable accommodations. Equality Act, UK in the United Kingdom. The Equality Act requires employers and service providers to make reasonable adjustments for disabled individuals. This includes physical changes, policy adjustments, and communication support. United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD. This international treaty emphasizes the right to reasonable accommodation, and many countries have ratified it, committing to its principles. Examples of reasonable accommodation. Reasonable accommodation can take many forms, depending on individual needs and circumstances. Accessible facilities. This includes ramps, elevators, wider doorways, and accessible restrooms to ensure physical access. Assistive technology, providing specialized equipment or software to assist individuals with disabilities in performing tasks, such as screen readers for the visually impaired or voice recognition software. Flexible work arrangements, allowing for modified work hours, telecommuting, or part-time schedules to accommodate medical appointments or disability-related needs. Sign language interpreters, providing sign language interpreters or captioning services for individuals with hearing impairments during meetings, events, or educational settings. Extended time for testing, in educational institutions, granting additional time for exams and assignments to students with disabilities who require it. Benefits of reasonable accommodation. Inclusivity. Reasonable accommodation promotes inclusivity by breaking down barriers and ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in all aspects of life. Talent utilization. Employers benefit from the skills, talents, and diverse perspectives of individuals with disabilities when accommodations allow them to work to their full potential. Compliance with the law. Failure to provide reasonable accommodations can lead to legal consequences, including discrimination claims and fines. Social and economic benefits. An inclusive society is stronger, more diverse, and economically robust, benefiting everyone. Challenges and barriers. Despite the legal framework and potential benefits, challenges and barriers to implementing reasonable accommodation persist. These may include lack of awareness. Many individuals and organizations are unaware of their legal obligations or the benefits of reasonable accommodation. Financial constraints. Employers and educational institutions may cite budget limitations as a reason for not providing accommodations. Resistance to change. Resistance to change, fear of the unknown, or biases against individuals with disabilities can hinder the implementation of accommodations. Conclusion. Reasonable accommodation is not just a legal requirement, it is a cornerstone of a more inclusive and equitable society. By removing barriers and embracing the diverse talents and abilities of individuals with disabilities, we create a world where equal opportunities are not just a promise but a reality. It is a collective responsibility to ensure that reasonable accommodation is understood, implemented, and upheld, allowing people with disabilities to thrive and contribute their unique perspectives to society.